All right, so we're going to start this stream here now and talk a little bit about what's going on in the world of weather. If we take a look at things, and we will take a look at things here in a few minutes. Thanks for joining me here on my Facebook page. And something new I'm doing, of course, is over on YouTube. I don't have much of a following there yet, but I'm trying to develop a YouTube page too. So if you could, I'll give you the link here in a few minutes. If you could, please go over there and follow that too, because I'll be doing some updated weather information along with other stuff too. It's not just weather anymore. We're going to do other stuff too. So far, though, we don't have anything else lined up right away. I do want to say that to follow up with what we did the other night as far as the having the veterinarian on, we'll have him on again to ask him more questions. Also have discovered a real-life Ace Ventura pet detective that I want to interview that lives in this area in Texoma that helps find missing pets, and I'm going to interview her at some point in the near future. And I'm also going to do some football picks tomorrow for this upcoming playoff weekend, so you don't want to miss these things. All right, so thanks again for joining me. So far, viewer count very low. I just don't understand what's going on with Facebook. You know, these types of posts in the past would have garnered hundreds of viewers and just hardly nothing these. I think a lot of it has to do with the meta. They just keep on messing everything up. That's why I'm trying to transition more into YouTube. So let's talk about what's going on with this storm system for next week. Of course, between now and then, you're going to see a lot of different forecasts out there on social media. You're going to see big numbers being posted by some of these either media outlets or some of these guys who are at home that are having fun forecasting the weather. In the past, I've made it a life's mission to discredit those guys, but you know what? I'm not doing that anymore. If those guys want to post that stuff, then fine, they can do that, and we'll continue to post what we post over here. So I will say that there is a system next week that does bear watching. There's a lot of question marks in regards to how it would play out, what would happen with it. For number one, for starters, there really isn't any Arctic air in place, and it'd have to be a strong enough storm system to generate its own wintry precipitation, to generate its own cold air to produce it. So without further ado, let's talk a little bit more about what is going on. And make sure you ask questions. If you have questions, you can ask them right here on my page, and I will see them. Let me pull up my screen capture device here, make sure that it is getting what it needs. Matter of fact, I had to close down earlier because I could not get my computer to connect to my webcam, which I'm using basically as my phone. So give me a second to pull this back up here, and we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on with this storm system as we head into next week. We're going to start by looking at, and I posted this on my page here earlier today. There's basically a couple different weather models that we like to look at, one being the European. And you'd think, well, the European computer model probably wouldn't do a very good job of forecasting weather in the U.S., but that's actually not right. The European computer models, the mathematical equations are just a little bit different than what we get with the GFS. But very, very good computer model in forecasting weather patterns in the extended periods. So that's why I like to, a lot of times when I'm forecasting weather long range, that's what oftentimes I like to kind of side with is the European computer model. And it does show a fairly significant storm system for next week, whereas the GFS shows that storm system too, but it's not nearly as strong as what the European computer model is showing. Give me just a second. For whatever reason, this program's not wanting to discover this particular thing I'm wanting to pull out. There it is. All right, so here we go. All right, give me just a second. I got to stretch this out to make sure it fits so you can see everything. Like I said, I had everything set up the way it was supposed to go, and then of course things happen sometimes, and you sometimes can lose it. So all right, give me just, I apologize, give me just a few more seconds. This is a new program I'm using. It's called Streamlabs OBS. A lot of gamers use it to stream with, and it's a pretty cool program, but I haven't figured out how to use everything in it just yet. So you'll have to excuse me for my delay here. All right, now I got it up. Let's talk about it. All right, so here we go. We're going to pull up this is the European computer model, and you'll have to remember that a lot of times I like to show you this kind of stuff, and I know that it can be a little bit out of maybe your understanding, but I'll do the best I can to try to explain some of these things to you. So what we're looking at here is what's called a 500 millibar chart, and what a 500 millibar chart does is it shows the storm systems or the energy in the atmosphere. So this is, again, 500 millibars is up there at about 20,000 feet in the atmosphere. I'm sorry, I clicked on something and it went a little bit too fast. So if we look here, and hopefully this is showing, let me make sure that everything is the way it needs to be. I'm going to try to pull this up just a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. All right, so it's moving too fast. Yeah, sometimes it's going to be a pain in the butt to do. So give me just a second here. I'm going to go instead of doing a slideshow, I'm going to do it minute by minute. That works out better. All right, so if we look this weekend, there's a little storm system that's crossing the area, and you can see here all those bright colors. That's not rain. What that is showing here is that's showing what we call vorticity, or a storm system in the atmosphere generating the lift. And this would be on Saturday. And probably this would be, actually this is Saturday night, early Sunday morning. But as this little system kind of kicks on through here, it does a pretty strong storm system, and there might be some snow at that up across parts of Kansas, and then I'm going to tell my son that's up there in Lindsborg that they might see a little snow with that. Probably some more big snow up around Nebraska into Iowa, and as it moves through North Texas, southern Oklahoma, it could generate a little area of light precipitation, but it doesn't look like much. Now, what I want you to watch is this little feature that you see back off to the west, moving into the west coast of the U.S. That's a pretty strong energetic system diving in on the backside of Saturday's storm system. And if we put this into motion here, let me continue to go out a bit here in time. All right, so here we are Sunday night into Monday. You've got a double barrel storm system. One's over the Great Lakes and the eastern part of the country. That's going to provide seasonably cool air over us. Now, neither one of these systems are tapping into Arctic air, so we're not looking at Arctic air blasting on through and getting us super cold. You know, that's one strike against a winter storm for next week. But look at that storm that's moving through the Rocky Mountain area and into New Mexico and Arizona. Notice how it's real circular and real round. It's already pretty strong. It's got some energy digging on the back side of it, and as you're seeing these the energy digging on the back side, oftentimes that suggests a pretty energetic and strong storm system. Let's go ahead and go into Monday. And oftentimes when these storm systems are real energetic and real strong, they have a tendency to slow down. That's a pretty strong system as we head into Monday afternoon. Here we are Monday night. Now, ahead of that, you're going to see an area of lift. Probably see some light precipitation begin to develop on Monday night with that, if this scenario were to play out. And keep in mind, this is still a good ways out there. A lot can change. The shape of it, the look of it, the track of it, everything can change. Here we go into Tuesday. Notice how far south that storm is. So underneath, this is what you call an area of upper level low pressure, or it's a big area of vorticity, and it spins counterclockwise. And underneath that, as these things get super strong, they start to generate their own cold air throughout the atmosphere. So that means the cold air starts off here, about 20, 30,000 feet in the atmosphere, and as they get stronger, that area of vorticity begins to help push that colder air further and further down closer to the Earth's surface. Now, oftentimes this will be above the Earth's surface, and you got to have a way to pull it down to the Earth's surface. And without Arctic air in place, you don't see that. But as these storm systems get real strong and they start generating their own precipitation, you see a lot of lift in them, and as that happens and the precipitation begins to fall and get heavier, it'll help pull that colder air down to the Earth's surface. So with a system like this, oftentimes you see an area of rain change to snow as the storm system pulls over you and you get into that cold air associated with the system. And then you'll see it transition back to rain oftentimes as the pocket of cold air associated with it moves off to the east. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to happen. I'm not even forecasting snow here yet, but that is an energetic storm system. And to get snow with that, you want to be on the north side of it. And if this scenario were to play out, that would put North Oklahoma and Oklahoma and North Texas right in the bullseye for it. Very energetic storm system. And notice how it kind of leans back to the left a little bit. This is what we call a negative tilt. As they take on a negative tilt, the atmosphere, especially out ahead of it, it diverges like that, and it produces a whole lot of lift. So with a negative tilted trough, a negative tilted storm system like that, it's usually a very intense. It's a maturing storm system. And on the backside of it, it does help pull the polar jet south. So you have the polar jet coming on the backside of it. So that would tap into at least some cold air. Now let's talk about a little more about what type of precipitation that we would see with that. And again, you're going to notice that with the European computer model, it's going to crank out quite a bit of wintry precipitation. And I'll show you before I leave the GFS, and it's not nearly as optimistic with the strength and the intensity that the European is. So this is Sunday. Let's go out to Monday. Here we are, Monday morning. Yeah, not a whole lot going on over us. Here we are, Monday evening. This will be about 6 o'clock in the evening. Notice some areas of snow over the Rocky Mountains, over the New Mexico area. Now here comes our storm system, and you can see an area of low pressure. This is the storm. This is a surface low developing over southwestern Oklahoma. Remember, the further south these energetic storm systems are, the further south these little surface storm centers will develop. That's key. You have to have them south. If it goes too far to the north, it'll pull warm air northward. Or if it goes too far north, it pulls dry air over you, and you don't see any precipitation. That's a lot of the reason why we're so dry here lately, is because we're getting dry slotted. These storm systems are coming through at the wrong part of the day, and we're getting dry slotted, and we don't see snow. We don't see precipitation as a result of them. So this is it. This is early. Again, this is on Monday evening rather. Now let's go out. Here's Tuesday night. Our Monday night and early Tuesday. Now notice we have areas of precipitation developing. There's our storm center over Texas. Probably have thunderstorms breaking out over central and southern Texas, and as those lift northward, they lift back into that colder air. And there's that pocket of cold air on the backside of it. And we see precipitation mostly in the form of rain over North Texas, southern Oklahoma, but look back into the Texas Panhandle, Lubbock, up to Childress, over towards Amarillo, snow, and maybe a transition area where we see a little sleet. And then as we get into the daytime hours and that pocket of cold air pushes over North Texas, you see kind of a mixed bag of rain, sleet, and perhaps some snow. And some of it could come down pretty hard, especially as you get thunderstorms that try to wrap around back into it. And this would be into a Monday evening, more wintry precipitation. And it looks like it wouldn't taper off here until sometime on Wednesday night. You can see that big storm system over in Mississippi, probably some severe weather out ahead of it. Had a lot of severe weather across parts of Mississippi and Alabama this winter, been a lot of it. With this scenario, with the stronger European computer model, it would suggest that snowfall amounts would be somewhere, and oftentimes this is overdone. The European usually overdoes snowfall and rainfall amounts in the extended forecast, so this is probably not an accurate gauge. This does show some widespread accumulations of snow and sleet across most of North Texas and all of Oklahoma and over into Arkansas and parts of Kansas and into Missouri. So that would be quite a winter storm for the southern plain states. But again, let me caution you, this is not my forecast. This is just information that we're looking at, that we keep an eye on, that helps us gauge what we would see. So I'm not going to get as intense and in-depth into the forecast as I did with the European. I am going to show you the GFS and what it's forecasting over us. It's not nearly as heavy with precipitation. It has a weaker storm system. It has it further to the south. And one thing about the GFS, though, yesterday it had this storm system a lot weaker. Look how much further north it is. It has the surface low up over the Texas Panhandle. And then it does kind of develop it a little bit further south and a little bit further east. But this scenario would actually make us warmer on Monday. And then it shows that upper level storm system moving across Texas. But notice how it doesn't have much precipitation. It does have some colder air coming in on the backside of it. But it does not have much in the way of heavy precipitation. It does have some rain, thunderstorms out ahead of it. It does have a little wintry precipitation early on Tuesday morning on the backside, but not anything like what the European model is showing. But the GFS has trended a little different today. Yesterday it didn't have any of this scenario showing up, and today it kind of does. So you watch trends and the GFS ensembles. I guess I could pull that up for you real fast. And what the ensembles are, it basically is each, when these models come out, they produce a lot of different scenarios. And what the computer models usually do, that was called the operational runs of these models, what they usually do is they kind of take a consensus and they kind of take a in general average, and that's where your forecast comes from. But what you have to do is you have to watch these ensembles as they begin to start showing this stuff too, and you start lining it up with other computer models and saying, hey, this is starting to make sense. Then you start getting more confident with the forecast. And I will say that several of the GFS computer model runs are trying to develop a similar situation to what the European is. So it is possible that there could be some winter weather over the area early middle part of next week. You can see even some of the GFS ensembles have decent snowfall amounts down this way. Bottom line is, it's too early to say exactly what is going to happen. It's way, way, way too early to say. And basically, bottom line is, I'll be looking and watching things closely. I'll be watching the trends of these computer models. I'll be watching to see which trend and which direction they go in. And I'll put together a forecast that might reflect that later on. Right now, I'm just doing some light rain and maybe cool temperatures during the day, but I forecast conservatively. If you go out and start throwing big numbers out there, and especially in this part of the country, you start going winter weather, precipitation chances, you will get burned 9 times, or probably say 10 times out of 10 burned. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to continue to be conservative and keep an eye on it, and we'll have more updates. Hey, remember to like and follow my page and my YouTube page too. That YouTube page is, I need to get it to grow. I just need some growth with it because it's so far not doing anything. It's just at Ken Johnson, all one word, at Ken Johnson 4589. I don't know why it has a 4589, but that's it. I need to change. That's what it is right now. At symbol Ken Johnson 4589. That's my YouTube page. I also have a TikTok page. I do some TikToks from time to time, but unfortunately I can't do live streams there yet. I don't know why, but I just can't. Time right now is 6:56. Thankfully, I got a Mississippi pot roast in the slow cooker tonight, so I'll be leaving here in a few minutes. So let me see here what we got. Questions. We got a lot of questions that were asked to us here. A lot of people are just saying, hey, we need some rain, and yeah, we do. And somebody said that Facebook automatically changes things you have to go in and turn on your notifications more for my live feeds if you want to get notified right when I'm doing them. If not, you're going to miss it. You're going to have to watch it, a recorded version of it if you want to see it. I suggest you turn your notifications on, because if you don't, you're going to miss good stuff, especially as we get into severe weather season. You don't want to miss that. You have to go in and manually turn them on now. So somebody by the name of Corey Davis says, everything I'm seeing doesn't give us more than 1/6 of an inch of snow. And that's possible, Corey. I mean, I'm just throwing out, just showing scenarios right now. But I'm not forecasting anything. That could change. It's several days away. So much can change. We're just talking about stuff right now. Yeah, you don't want to miss our severe weather coverage. We got a lot of good stuff going on this year with coverage we're planning on doing. We've expanded our storm chaser network. We're working on making that better and bigger and nicer and just more. A lot of cool things we're going to do on there. So, all right. Well, it looks like that's all the questions I have. I really didn't have a lot of questions, just comments basically there from people, and I do appreciate those comments. And I'm going to do, if as we get storm systems that come in, I'm going to do situations where I allow you just to ask me questions. I'm going to come on here and we're just going to answer questions. We'll do that with severe weather as well. Remember our First Alert 6 weather app, download it if you haven't. That's always a source of information. You just got to have sources of information. It's January now, we head into February. This looks like, at least from the outside looking in right now, this looks like our best chances that we might see this season. Overall, February looks like it may start off a little chilly, but it overall looks like it should be kind of mild. But there again, it's hard to say what's going to happen. There's a lot of cold air up there in Siberia. We just haven't really tapped into it since December. Of course, we're trying to transition out of this La Nina into a neutral and almost a weak El Nino type of weather pattern over the next year, so that'll have impacts on the weather. And we'll have information on that coming up in March with our 5th season severe weather special that we do every year too. And remember, right here, we call it weather and stuff. We're going to have stuff, and tomorrow afternoon I'll have my picks. I'm having a good buddy of mine on from Mississippi that I grew up with, and we're going to talk football tomorrow afternoon. Now, tomorrow night I'm not doing weather on TV. It'll be Garrett. I'm at the Chocolate Soiree. I'll try to do some live stuff from there. Over the weekend, Austin Bowling will be here. He's helping us out until we can get a permanent weekend person. So it's good to have him in place. No First Alert weather days for next week. We're just going to keep an eye on it and see how things go. All right, guys. Again, I appreciate y'all watching me. I appreciate y'all following me. And again, follow me on my like and follow my YouTube page. Same thing here on Facebook, and we'll try to expand on this as we can. All right, I'm going to end this stream now. And I hope everybody has a great evening.